Hi, this is Matt Nelson, president of CGC Comics, and I'm here today to talk about comic book pedigrees. For those of you who are unfamiliar with pedigrees, there are three criteria that CGC looks for when identifying a pedigree collection. They must be from an original owner, they must be a large or significant accumulation of comic books, and most importantly, they must be in high grade. To date, CGC has identified 61 pedigree collections. So pedigrees first started with the Edgar Church Mile High collection, considered to be the most significant pedigree to ever surface. It came to light in 1977, and since then started the pedigree craze, which reached its peak in the 80s and 90s. By the time CGC opened in 2000, nearly 40 pedigree collections had surfaced. And since CGC has been open, we've identified an additional 22 pedigrees. CGC identifies pedigree comic books using a special gold label, and I have four examples here. The Wonder World 3 from the Mile High collection, Spider-Man number 3 and 9/6 from the Pacific Coast collection, the Davis Crippen copy of Captain Arrow 14, and the Harold Curtis copy of Sensation Comics number 8. You can see they're all high grade. So how does CGC tell if a comic book is a pedigree? Well, many collections from pedigrees have distinct markings on the cover or interior, which helps us identify those in the grading room. Some do not, which require a chain of ownership going back to when the collection surfaced. I have a few examples of pedigree comics with cover markings to help in identification in the grading room. The first one is WOW Comics number 6 from the Edgar Church Mile High collection that exhibits an arrival date in pencil and also the number 6. And the 6 indicates the number of copies that were sold on the newsstand at that time. Next up is a copy of Military Comics number 21 from the San Francisco collection. This collection actually surfaced before the Mile High collection, but is considered one of the best pedigrees because of the white pages and ultra high grades. A lot of San Franciscos have a penciled arrival date on the front cover and also exhibit a stamp on the back cover of the name Tom Riley. Next, I have a copy of Fantastic Four number 2 from the White Mountain collection, another very high-grade collection that spanned the 50s into the 70s. This particular collection often has a penciled arrival date next to the number of the last 2 digits of the year and also has a stamp on the first page of every copy. Next, I have a copy of Aquaman 30 from the Green River collection. Now, this pedigree is significant because its original owner was once considered a suspect in the Green River murders. He was exonerated, though. Now, this collection often has a red stamp on the cover to help its identification. Next, I have a copy of Rawhide Kid 40 from the Ohio collection. Now, this collection consisted of Golden and Silver Age comics spanning about 20 years that was discovered by Nelson Dodds during the 90s. Most copies exhibit a penciled or grease pencil arrival date on the front cover. Another collection that surfaced in the 70s prior to the Mile High discovery was the Lamont Larson collection. This collection of books often has the name Lamont or Larson written on the cover. Now, for years, no one knew who Lamont was, but in the 90s, John Burke discovered the man still alive and actually was brought to San Diego Con to meet collectors for the first time. This collection ran from 1936 to 1941 and contained many of the most significant Golden Age comic books ever produced, like Action 1. Another Golden Age pedigree that rivals the Mile High collection in size is the Davis Crippen collection. Now, this collection actually surfaced twice, once in the 90s when several books were stolen from the Crippen house, and then again in the 2000s when Mr. Crippen passed away and the rest of the collection came to light. Here I have a copy of Challenger from that collection. Now, this collection is interesting because it has markings on the cover, but up until 1948, every single copy also had a penciled code on the first page. Another interesting pedigree collection that contains markings on the interior pages is the Cosmic Aeroplane collection. This collection also surfaced prior to the Mile High collection in the 70s out of Salt Lake City, Utah. And here I have a copy of Space Detective. Now, this collection has check marks in the margins of the interior pages, which was placed there by an art teacher during the 40s and 50s to educate their students. Because the Cosmic Aeroplane collection surfaced prior to the Mile High collection and before the pedigree concept took hold in the industry, many cosmic airplanes are lost in collections and unidentified. The 61 pedigrees identified by CGC are covered in depth in the CGC grading guide, which also include pictures of the identifying markings and a short summary of the collection. If you haven't picked up your copy yet, make sure to grab it on the CGC website.